when the weather is not great, it still feels pretty nice on our patio. We've got just a ton of fans and stuff out here to keep air flowing, but we're able to do so much out here. We book this out for private events. We do cool parties out here. You'll see like whole soccer teams out here celebrating. So this is our patio. We love it. We have heaters for in the winter, fans for in the summer.
Hey, welcome to Feges BBQ. I'm Patrick Feges.
I'm Erin Smith.
And we're gonna walk around and show you our restaurant today.
Come on in.
It's our massive dining room. It's a big space, 5,000 square feet. About half of it is dining room.
Yeah.
A lot of cool features like the projectors. A lot of wall to cover. And so I think Erin came up with the idea of using projectors to show the Westerns and sports when we're in the playoffs and all that good stuff. Helps cover up the wall space. And then our builders, it was a family, and the dad was an architect by trade. So there's a lot of cool like design features with these beams. It's very linear. Like these beams are like the door, so it's like kind of funnels you towards the register, and then if you like step over here, it's still like straight lines this way with these beams from the kids' play area to these projectors.
Yeah, so they built all of this, everything, all the steel that you see inside the restaurant, all the framing. Everything was built by the architects and designers that built our space out. And it is all meant to draw you to the register where the menus are.
Yep.
Yep, so come on in a little bit further if you want. We've got, this is the grab and go refrigerator. So we always keep it stocked with some desserts, some tallow, and then some of our buy in bulk barbecue, which is, buy in bulk barbecue is our menu of smoked meats that everything is cooked. You just take it home and easily reheat. So it's just another way to get barbecue on your kitchen table.
Yep.
And then this is what we call the Cowboy Lounge.
The to-go lounge.
It's just a little sitting area, and it's really all about focusing on this really awesome Laura Goodson art that we have. She came and painted that here before we opened. So literally, like, our architects just, we asked them to do an 8x8 wood, just basically like a wood thing there, and then she came with her assistant and spent a day here painting this and also doing a mural outside that we'll show you guys. And that was one of the most fun days of my life because I just sat here and talked to her and distracted her the whole time.
Yeah, right.
But it was a lot of fun. I think it's really cool that we have that.
Yeah. And then merchandise, our shirts, our hats, our rubs, our sauces, and then we also carry Brushfire Farms stuff. Can't really find them in grocery stores. I love them. I think they're great. We use them on the menu every now and then, and so I wanted to just kind of feature it. There's not many places in town that you can walk in and pick it up and buy it. You usually have to order from them. So I think it's great. So if we can help promote these guys, they're based out of either Austin or San Antonio, but they're a Texas company.
And then we have our cookbooks, which these are not cookbooks for sale. These are like from our collection, but we've always worked in places where like reading and educating and that kind of stuff was just really important. So we wanted to have these books here so that our team could come, grab a book, and just kind of flip through it and get some ideas for the menu or read about other chefs. And so these are some of our favorites. And then we also have our pickled pig's feet, which is like a relic from the old underbelly days. I don't recommend anybody ever eat those. They are done. They're past.
Yeah, and it's pretty fun as our friends write books where this is just growing.
Yeah.
It seems like every year we've got 2 or 3 friends coming out with a cookbook, which is pretty awesome.
This is the newest one. Our friend Sarah came out with this book, and so that's a new edition.
Well, this is a fun one. Peace, Love, and Barbecue was, I borrowed this when I was in culinary school. It still has TCA Learning Resource Center in there, and I never returned it. They're closed now, they can't come back for it, but I ended up ripping the thing off. But this was like, as I was getting into barbecue while going to culinary school, this was the first barbecue book I picked up. And it's Mike and Amy Mills, and like Mike Mills is like on the Mount Rushmore of pitmasters in this country. So this is, I mean, it's still here, and it's a great read. And Mike was a great ambassador for barbecue. So this book is kind of special. All right, open it here. But yeah, and then over here is our register. We've got the Texas Monthly Barbecue Festival plaques that they give us. You've got the candles, our prayer candles with all our favorite pitmasters. And that list has grown, so we need to make more candles. And then we have our Eater Award for Best Pivot during COVID, which is an award we wish we never had to receive, but it's still pretty awesome. And then our Buc-ee's mug with our Packy sticker and our Packy hat. They used to, Packy Sanders, who is everyone in barbecue knows, he was one of our biggest champions. And so he liked to bring that Buc-ee's cup into our Greenway location and not pay for soda, and then fill it up with soda just to give us a hard time. So that's kind of like our memorial to him, I guess.
Yeah.
And then all our wine that Erin curated.
Yeah. So we have, before we opened this location, we'd been really wanting to do wine and barbecue together, and it just didn't make sense at our first spot in Greenway Plaza, and so this was a really great opportunity for us here. And as you can see, we've got some pretty awesome wines. I can talk to you about some of them. Every one of these wines we have a link to in some way. Either it's a producer that we know personally, or somebody who is operating in a way that we really can get behind. So there's some really cool stories. We've got, this is Stoltman La Quadrilla. This is a wine that every vintage that this wine is produced, it is selected by the farmers that are farming the vineyard. And so the grapes change from year to year. It's been Syrah many times, but it will change, and it's selected by the people that are growing the grapes, and so they know what's going to be good. I trust them more than I trust just about anybody. But the coolest part of that wine is it's really meant to create a sustainable lifestyle for the farmers. Otherwise, they are pretty migratory and kind of have to travel from season to season. So you only pick grapes, a certain time of the year, and there's, other than that, there's different farming things. So this allows them to earn a living off of the wine, and that way they can stay where they are with their families and not have to move around so much. So I think that's really cool. We love having stories behind the wines. The other cool wine, so this is my favorite barbecue wine. This is Cletto Chiarli. It's a Lambrusco, Vecchia Modena. So it's a drier style of Lambrusco. It's got really nice effervescence. It is the absolute best pairing with barbecue, period, end of day. But, and some other cool stuff up here as well. The Kunstbas, this is Cremant d'Alsace, very similar to Champagne, but because it is not grown in this Champagne region, but it is grown in Alsace, it's available at a lower price point, which is something we wanted to do, is to have wine that's very approachable and affordable, but also that gets you to kind of reach outside of your comfort zone a little bit in terms of just like regions and grapes and things that we're offering. So for example, we've got the Amestoy, which is the Hammurabi grape. This is indigenous to the Basque region in Spain where this wine comes from. But this is one of our rosé options, and it's absolutely fun and delicious and super crushable summer wine. We've got Vino Verde, which is another like really, really great crushable white wine. Vino Verde is a Portuguese grape. This wine's coming from Portugal, but absolutely love this wine selection with barbecue. So if you're ever visiting us, be sure to check out the wine list. We also have some really cool beers, and we have wine-based margarita. And if you come on Wednesday, we do Wine Wednesday, so there's usually a deal to be had. There you go. Oh, and this is our collection of toys that have been left behind by kids, and we keep them here so when when parents are trying to order and sometimes there's a little kid just pulling on them, we have these little toys that we can offer the kids to play with, and that usually helps with that. And then we built this whole restaurant around two things. This room and then the kids play area, but this is just another kids play area right here. These are our adult kids play areas. So you can see a lot of times, like if you're here like during service and we're busy, there's kids standing here just watching our team trim the briskets and get everything ready for the next day. So I love that they can see what's going on in here and that it's really interactive.
It's like an aquarium.
Yeah, we should take them back there.
Yeah, okay. Hugo,
what's going on?
Our morning pick guy, is our, like every other barbecue restaurant, our turtle box. So we've got two smokers that we're cooking on every day. Joke around, old Dan, little Ann. Anyone gets that reference? This one doesn't like barbecue temperatures. It likes cold and it likes hot, right? So it's great for cold smoking sausage, which is what we do our sausage on. It likes hot, so chicken, turkey, ribs, kind of our overflow. And then this is our main guy that we use every day. We cook our briskets, our pork butts on here. And then we usually are cooking ribs and chicken and turkey on here as well. But if we got a busy day, we'll kind of kick those over to that smaller one. This is fun. John Brotherton, another barbecue guy that unfortunately no longer with us, opened up his restaurant in Pflugerville, and he had Pflugerville barbecue. But I always give him a hard time because PF Barbecue is like, oh, Patrick Feges Barbecue, you're such a fan. You got your own personal plates. And so he ended up changing his plates and sent me this. And so this was sitting on my fridge at home. And we ended up bringing it up here. So it's not Patrick Feges Barbecue. It's actually, a John Brotherton license plate, but it's fun. And every time I saw it, I gave him a hard time about it. I think he ended up changing it to JMFB, John motherfucking Brotherton, which was somehow his nickname. But yeah, trim and sausage, like all the prep happens here. I've got my setup, so after this I'm going to be breaking down shoulder clod. So the bodies of the pits are outside. We have them inside. Running a barbecue restaurant in the city of Houston has its challenges, like all big city restaurants. So you got to have hood vents over them. So hood vents are expensive, but the best way to do it for us was to, again, have the bodies outside, and this opens inside. That keeps the health department happy. It keeps permitting department happy. But yeah, so we've got wood out back and we're feeding the fire. It also kind of helps keep the temperature in here kind of cool. These guys are not allowed to complain about the heat during the summer because we might be the only air-conditioned pit room in Texas, or at least in Houston. So it kind of helps make this job a little bit more bearable by having AC in here and not hot burning fires inside. So that really helps. Yeah, and then we've got our pig cooker out back too. This is a J&R Oiler that we pulled out of Beef and Bun, which is an old barbecue restaurant that used to be in this strip center. It was around for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. If you grew up in Spring Branch, you ate there. This is a J&R Oiler, but it was the last refurbished one from M&M Barbecue Pits before they started making and selling their own. So I guess you could say this is a special pit. I think it would have been pretty cool to buy their first pit, but we were just a little too quick on it, I guess. And then our pig cooker outside is a Syntex pig cooker. It's the third one he built. It's the first 5-footer. I kind of had some say in how he designed it, and so that thing is heavy duty and it's great. It's a rock star. We have whole hog on the menu, or we did until recently. We still have plans to do it for catering and events and like specials. We just got to kind of figure out best way to do that. But we got that pig cooker set up so we can also like direct heat cook on it, so we can do steak nights and all that stuff. It's just got to find the time, which is few and far between.
You use a different wood for the pig cooker?
No, we use the same. I mean, we just do post oak. I've got burn barrels out there, and what we tend to do is pick out the wood that's a little too green, too big, too knotty, too dense for how we like to run in these smokers, and that's what I burn for the pig cooker. So that helps. If I've got a lot of cooking I need to do on that, I'll ask my wood guys, Warner Firewood, which are great. They're right down the street from us. I'll ask them for some undesirable wood. Okay guys, you got any wood that you can't or don't want to sell? I'm just gonna burn it down the coals. You know, it's too ugly, too big, too whatever to throw into a smoker. So we kind of help each other out with that. But yeah, barbecue, you kind of burn what's around. And so we use post oak, so that's what we burn. And this is funny. This is a picture of Rodney Scott and not me cooking whole hog on, I think, my very first pig cooker. And Rodney signed it for me, thinking that this was me, but it's not. It's Greg Peters, a friend of ours and a chef in this city. But it's just kind of, I framed it just to give Rodney a hard time because he was very proud of it and signed it and gave it to me. But yeah, our first pig cooker was 2x4s and metal siding with sand on the concrete. And most of my whole hog cooking that I learned cooking with Rodney. And then a bunch of trial and error. But yeah, this will stay up just because it's funny.
And then
yeah, motivation.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah, I think we put that up during the holidays. Our holidays are insane here with our shipping program and catering. And we were just kind of feeling it between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I had to put up some motivation for everybody, mostly for myself. But yeah, this is the pit room.
We should go outside and look at that pig cooker. This is the
Here's our Syntex pig cooker. So it's 5 feet. It needs to be cleaned. We used it recently. It's not always as dirty, but it's great. It holds heat really well. We've got a flatbed trailer. We'll put it on the trailer if we need to take it somewhere. And then our hobo burn barrels, which work wonders. And yeah, these are the bodies of the smokers, and then storage.
Yep.
And
space is you got to be creative with space, and just hope you never need the ladder. There's only like one person that can get that down. But yeah, then we just have all of our.
Sorry, that's the only ladder that you need a ladder to get. You know.
Exactly. It's the only ladder
we
you
have
need a ladder to
we
get.
have a smaller ladder back there. No, it's on a pulley system, so you undo it.
Wait, can you demonstrate it for me?
No, I'm not going to do that.
But I've never known how to get it down.
Well, it's all tied up. I'm not going to.
Well, then that is why I will always ask Patrick to get the ladder down.
Never
He will teach me how to do it.
I've never been fired because I'm always the tallest person in the kitchen. So make
You
yourself.
can't get fired.
Make yourself indispensable. But yeah, this is our pit room. One of my favorite things is when it's raining and I'm out here in the morning and the rain's hitting the roof. It's just, and then the smell of smoke in the air, it's just like perfect.
All right. Now we're in our kitchen area. These are all the ladies that make Feges BBQ happen. So Anna is on the block. She works the block most days during lunch, and she's a beast, and she does a lot of prep work too. And then Megan is our catering and events manager. Marco is our director of operations, formerly a chef, still a chef. We just gave him more to do. But yeah, this is getting ready for lunch service, kind of getting everything on.
So this is like more collection of stuff. Troubadour Festival, when we cooked at Duck Camp with Lone Star, that was the poster they had. The Houston Barbecue Throwdown in 2016, we got first place in People's Choice. That year we got second place in judging, lost out to Ronnie Killen. Guess if you're gonna lose to someone, you might as well lose to Ronnie Killen. 2016 was at Southern Goods when we were doing barbecue there. We won favorite barbecue from the My Table Awards, which My Table magazine isn't around anymore, or at least the awards aren't. So I don't know if that was last year or not, but that was one of our last chances to win that. We've got our Kempwood Manor Best Chili. We used to live right down the street off of Kempwood, and so we won the chili cook-off in that neighborhood, and we make sure to brag about it every time our neighbors come in. That's why that's there. We've got a brick from Louis Miller when they caught on fire and he was fundraising. This is a brick from the original pit. That's from 2013. So it's like right after I started cooking, right after I started selling barbecue. And Wayne is a great friend of ours, cooked at our rehearsal dinner. And it's one of my favorite restaurants. And then this is the rock that was thrown through our window when we were broken into. Eventually we'll just throw it away, but I figure we'll put it on the counter for now. It's just a giant chunk of concrete that they used to bust the window. And then this was my hat when I was in Korea cooking in the Army. That was our dining facility hat that we had to wear. Somehow my head grew, so it doesn't fit me anymore, so it hangs out there. But yeah.
And then we got the Perones.
And the Perones, again, because
Okay.
Erin is all about the wine.
So this is a mini Perone, but this is a vessel for consuming wine. They use these a lot in the Basque Country in Spain. So if you order, you can do it with any wine because it's just fun. But if you do order Amestoy and you think about it, ask them to serve it to you in a Perone, and you basically just, like at Carlos and Charlie's, but a little more refined. So.
Yeah. And then our Longhorns, which is a funny story. We were building this place out. We didn't have the pit room outside. We didn't have this ceiling on it yet, and we had a bunch of stuff back there. We had a ladder back there. Our contractors had a bunch of stuff. Someone climbed up the wall and stole a bunch of stuff. So I'm like, well, let me go check out the pawn shop down the street and see if our $200 ladders over there. They didn't have the ladder. I'm walking on. I walk past this thing. I'm like, you know what? Let me get the Longhorns, and I have a perfect space for it. But it's just kind of like if we hadn't got robbed, we wouldn't have these Longhorns here. So it's kind of a like a consolation prize.
Kids play area, and then I want to talk about the menu. All right. This is for all the kids. It's empty right now because we just opened and it's lunchtime during a weekday, but this is normally kind of a madhouse of kids running around and playing. We had to create some rules to keep everybody in line, but I
For
realized
liability purposes.
most of the people that need to read it are not old enough to read yet, so there's still quite a bit of rule breaking. But I think the coolest part of the kids' play area is Cupcake. Cupcake is a barbecue relic. This belongs at Baker's Ribs, also known as the Pig on Voss, and this is why it was named the Pig on Voss. This belonged to our friends Russell and Misty Regals, and when they were getting rid of it, Patrick reached out and said, what are you going to do with it? And I think they were just going to throw it away. So he said, I'll take it. And it sat in our backyard for like 10 years until we opened this location and had somewhere to put it. And so here she is, I don't know. And she scares and torments all the kids, but also keeps everybody in line out here.
Yeah, and we had this cleaned up and refurbished before we opened up, and this is all damage from the kids. Kids are destructive, man. That's why one of the rules is no climbing on this.
Yeah.
Which also applies to adults. We've caught adults sitting on this. So yeah, this thing is looking worse for wear, but kids, man, they're destructive. Yeah.
She's part of us now. So when we were looking for spaces, we really wanted to be in Spring Branch, and we were finding a lot of spaces that were too small. And when this presented itself, we immediately were like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be great. We'll have this massive patio, and we love it out here. So even when the weather is not great, it still feels pretty nice on our patio. We've got just a ton of fans and stuff out here to keep air flowing, but we're able to do so much out here. We book this out for private events. We do cool parties out here. You'll see like whole soccer teams out here celebrating. So this is our patio. We love it. We have heaters for in the winter, fans for in the summer.
Also,
cool.
Houston, very Houston sign.
Oh, did you hang that?
No, that was there.
Okay.
It came with the building, and we left it there. In fact, I think they painted around it. But yeah, don't leave valuables in your car in Houston. They will no longer be yours.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier, Laura Goodson did some additional artwork for us, and I want to take you to go see it. So these are Laura Goodson's very first wall couple murals that she ever painted. When she came to do these, she said, admittedly, I have no idea what I'm doing, and so I'm not gonna charge you for these. And it was definitely funny, like watching her kind of learn as she went. The CMU absorbed a lot of paint, so she was having to do way more layers than she was used to. But I think they turned out amazing, and it's so cool when you drive by our space and you just see, you see the three cowboys, and eventually, when she's not so busy, we'll try to finish this wall. But first, murals. Love it. Really cool laying. This is kind of like another barbecue relic, right?
Yeah, so when Ronnie Killen first started doing pop-ups, he bought this and was cooking on this back when he had to get his barbecue from the steakhouse. And then I started at Killen's Barbecue like 2 weeks after they opened up. And so we cooked on this every day for a year. And then, I mean, he quickly outgrew that. And so he got bigger smokers, and he was looking to get rid of it. So he sold it to me, he offered it to me, and I bought it from him. And this was our road rig. I already had a trailer, barbecue trailer, but this let me grow. That thing was it quickly got too small for me, and that's kind of my advice for people. It's like, hey man, buy a bigger smoker than you think, because you'll end up needing it. So this let me grow with the catering and the pop-ups and stuff before we opened up Greenway.
Yeah.
And it sits here. We don't use it every day. Again, it's more overflow. Our road rig right now. I am looking to sell it if anyone wants to buy it.
But this is the famous, it was on the news because it got stolen.
Yeah, it got stolen from behind
Ronnie,
the restaurant.
not from us.
Yeah, from Ronnie.
Yeah.
It got stolen from behind the restaurant. And then quickly turned in by, I think Ronnie believes that it was the guy that stole it. Called in an anonymous tip. Too much heat on him. When you steal from celebrity chef Ronnie Killen, it's gonna make some noise. But this thing's great. Cooked a lot of food on here, a lot of good food. And it's feels like a dream if anybody wants to buy it. But yeah, this is it. This is our restaurant.
Let's go talk about the menu. I think we've got a really cool menu. When we met and we were talking about barbecue, I came from a fine dining world and was trying to think about how to kind of bring some of my experience and flair to the barbecue world, but also specifically to our menu. And so we were really thinking outside the box when we were coming up with what our sides would be and how we wanted to approach the menu. And we were able to expand on that even more when we opened our second location here in Spring Branch. And so we have we have our barbecue meats by the pound, we have our sides, so we have all those traditional offerings and approach to the menu, but then that's just this little corner right here, right? From there, we go to our greens, so we have seasonal salads. We've got some really fun menu items under the other stuff category. I think the most popular item on our menu, besides a 2-meat plate, is the Feges bowl, which is basically just a little bit of a ripoff of Chipotle, because that's one of my favorite places to go to lunch. But I'm thinking, like, if you've got this assortment of food in the back and you just want to throw everything in a bowl and just eat it all together as one, that was basically the concept behind it. And so it's barbecue, but it's rice and lettuce and beans and corn and whatever. But that's been a big hit. We also, I think, have a really bomb burger. I love our burger and I try not to eat it every week, but it is hard not to do because it's delicious.
I think it's one of the best burgers in the city.
Yeah.
Criminally underrated.
And then smoked chicken wings, and we got some really great desserts, and here, like, again, our big wine list. But I think we really try to have a lot of fun with our menu, and we are always thinking about things that we'd be excited to eat. And that really is our driving force behind the creation of sides and dishes, is just what are we excited about, what would we want to eat. And we eat here 4 times a week, so it has to stay exciting for us. And so again, that's kind of what drives our menu. It's keeping us excited.
Yep.
And then, as always, the kids menu, because kids are a big part of our business model. And so we've got this fun little cowboy dinosaur thing, because if you know us or follow us, our son is very into dinosaurs, and when we were creating our kids menu, we wanted to have him be kind of part of the thought process. So hence the reason for the dinosaur barbecue theme, or dinosaur cowboy theme. Yeah. Well, we're about to start service, so
Or we have started service.
Yeah.
We're about to get busy.
we're about to get busy.
I had to go break down some shoulder quad.
Okay. Thanks for joining us on the tour. Yeah, so our Spring Branch location is located at 8217 Long Point Road in the heart of Houston, Texas. You can follow us on Instagram at Feges BBQ. You can follow on Facebook, on TikTok, I think.
It's all Feges BBQ.
All Feges BBQ.
Yeah.
Yep,
And then-
come visit us, have a glass of wine.